Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Commerce Compass. Today we will learn cost classification. This is our second class on this topic. This is the continuation of earlier class. So let us start cost classification. So classification of cost means the process of grouping of cost according to their common characteristics. So it's a process of grouping of cost. In cost accounting, the costs are arranged and rearranged in various classification, each of which helps to answer some question about cost. Now the same cost thus appears in several classification depending upon the purposes for which costs are to provide. There are various methods of cost classification depending upon the information, depending upon the purpose for which information about cost is required. Let us see the details of cost classification. Costs are classified like this: according to element of cost, according to function, according to behavior, according to normality, according to controllability, according to time when costs are computed, and finally according to decision making and control purpose. Let us discuss one by one. According to element, costs are classified into three: material, labor and expenses. So again, material are divided into direct material and indirect material. Labor is also divided into same way: direct labor and indirect labor. Expenses also divided into same way: direct expense, indirect expense. These element of cost we have already discussed in details in earlier class. Okay. Then according to function, again costs are divided into, say, production cost, administration cost, and selling and distribution cost. Okay. These are also discussed in details in earlier class under overheads. Okay. So element of cost, classification as per element and classification as per functionality we have already discussed in our earlier class. Now coming to third point. According to behavior, costs are classified into fixed cost, variable cost, and semi-variable or semi-fixed cost. or sometimes say semi-variable and semi-fixed cost. So according to behavior, costs are classified into fixed, variable, and semi-fixed, semi-variable. What is fixed cost? So fixed cost is that cost which remain fixed. Fixed cost are that cost which remain fixed irrespective of level of activity. So fixed cost are that cost which are fixed irrespective of level of activity or level of production. Example, say rent of factory building, depreciation of plant, okay, then property tax, permanent employee salary. All these are example of fixed cost. Fixed cost is remain fixed irrespective of level of production. Now variable cost. What is variable cost? Variable cost tends to vary with the volume or level of production. Variable cost vary with level of production or level of activity. It's vary with level of activity. Say example of variable cost, say hourly production labor charge, sales commission, okay, raw material cost, direct expense cost. It's increase with the increase of level of production or volume of production. This is variable cost. Now we come to semi-variable cost. Semi-variable cost are those costs which remain fixed up to a certain level of activity. Thereafter it increase. This is called semi-fixed, semi-variable. So best example of semi-variable cost. Examples of semi-variable cost. Best example of semi-variable cost, say electricity bill. So monthly meter charge is fixed, Thereafter it's increased with the consumption of extra power. That is, certain portion is fixed and certain is variable. Electricity bill, then telephone bill, telephone bill, that is fixed monthly charge plus variable part with the long distance call, etc. The telephone bill, then salesman's commission. Salesman, it is there is a fixed salary plus percentage based commission. Okay. Certain extent is fixed and certain is variable with the volume of increase of volume of sales. Then utility services bill, say AMC charges of water purifier. We use AquaGuard or Kent. there is a fixed AMC charges, annual AMC charges. Thereafter, if there is a breakdown, then hourly rate, or if any pierce parts is required, that is to be paid as per actual. So there is certain part is fixed, certain part is variable. This is called semi-variable cost. Semi-variable, that is how certain extent fixed and certain extent variable. So how to segregate this semi-variable cost into variable and fixed part? There is several methods of segregating these semi-fixed, semi-variable cost. Most important and most used method is high and low method. High and low method. What is this? This is actually variable cost per unit is equal to, how to find out, equal to difference between expenditure, and difference between capacity or unit, whatever may be. Then variable cost per unit may work out. How to work out? Let us see. So it may be work out like this way. Say production unit 4,700, and semi variable cost say 19,100, and say production unit is 2,500, and semi variable cost is 12,500. Then how to find out, how to segregate fixed cost and variable cost? So I have already told, this is high and low method. Difference between expenditure, that is variable cost per unit equal to difference between expenditure 19,100 minus 12,500. 19,100, this is high, this is low. So difference between high and low of expenditure 19,100 minus 12,500 division difference between units 4,700 minus 2,500, that is 6,600 by 2,200, that is rupees 3 per unit. So rupees 3 per unit is the variable cost, variable cost per unit. So this is apply anywhere. So total variable cost is 2,500. Apply at any level, either this level or this level. This into 3, that is this 7,500 is the total variable cost. So what is the fixed cost? Fixed cost is the balance amount. Total cost is 12,500 minus 7,500, that is rupees, that is 5,000. So 5,000 is the fixed cost. So this total semi-variable cost has been segregated by high and low method. 7,500 is the variable cost and fixed cost is the 5,000 rupees. Okay. So now come to next point. According to normality. So according to normality, costs are classified into two. Costs are classified into two. One is normal cost, and another one is abnormal cost. One is normal cost and another one is abnormal cost. What is normal cost and abnormal cost? During the course of production, certain cost is expected to be incurred. This is called normal cost. So let us take an example. So in case of process industries, where mass production of homogeneous product is produced, say in oil refinery. So when product items are processed through a number of process, then inputs injected, when transferred from one process to another process, there is certain loss is expected. This is due to say nature of inputs or nature of industries, say certain wastage, certain evaporation, say normal 5% is expected, 5 to 10% is expected as a normal loss. So this is anticipated and expected. This cost is treated as normal cost. Okay. So if this percentage, this actual wastage or actual expenditure is more than the expected, say some cases accident is happened in the factory or there is breakdown of machinery. So in that case, when loss is more than the expected one or some due to some unforeseen event, in that case that cost is called abnormal loss, and that is for that this cost is called abnormal cost. Okay, I think concept is clear. Now I am coming to controllability. According to controllability, costs are again can be divided into two. One is controllable cost, another one is uncontrollable cost. So cost that can be controlled, that is controllable cost, like say overtime expenditure. We can control in certain extent, right? Overtime expenditure, office supplies, right? Say variable cost are mostly controllable because with the volume of production, this is per unit cost increase. So variable cost. So controllable costs are nothing but it's a variable cost which we can control, right? Uncontrollable cost, its terminology indicates that it is not controllable. That is it's a type of fixed cost. Say employees' salary, employees' permanent employee salary, okay, taxes, rent of factory building. These are uncontrollable costs. So controllable and uncontrollable मतलब variable cost and fixed cost in other sense. Okay. Fixed costs are generally considered as uncontrollable cost because for change in fixed cost of an organization, it is to be approved by top level of management according to the policy decision undertaken. Overhead cost incurred by one service section is uncontrollable to another service section who receives the services. It is to be noted that there is no clear-cut distinction between controllable cost and uncontrollable cost. Sometimes it is left to the individual judgment. In fact, there is no cost which is uncontrollable. In a word, controllability of cost depend upon the area of managerial responsibility and upon the time duration it involves. Some cost which appears uncontrollable in the short run, but the same cost may be controllable if we consider it in the long run. Again, a cost which is controllable to a level of management, it may be uncontrollable to another level of management. So depreciation, rent, taxes may be cited as an example. So next, coming to the point, cost classification. Number 6, cost classification according to time and when computed. According to this basis, cost can be classified into historical cost, and predetermined cost. Historical cost are these costs actually been incurred. Now, this is the past cost or post-mortem cost. Past cost, okay, actually incurred or post-mortem cost. Okay. Predetermined cost, on the other hand, it's the cost prepared in advance on the basis of specification of all the factors affecting cost. Predetermined cost can be determined on the basis of estimated cost or standard cost. On the basis of standard cost. Predetermined costs are determined on the basis of estimated cost or on the basis of standard cost. Standard cost is more scientific. It is more scientific. Okay. So cost classification according to decision making and control is the most important classification. It will take another 25 to 30 minutes for discussion. We will take it up in the next class. So today is the end of this session. If you found it is helpful to you, then support my channel, hit the subscribe button for encouragement and more videos on this subject. Okay.